everybody, it's Clayton with High Torque Rollers here. Just wanted to go over some aspects of your QRS clutch, mainly the importance of having full roller face contact with your Helix. This importance is enhanced with our rollers because of the extremely good pin fit that we offer. This is a good example of a QRS Helix that has got a good contact across full width of the roller. As you can see, from this side to this side, you have an even pressure and an even contact print all the way across, which means that the full roller face was contacting that Helix at all times throughout your shift pattern. This is just to demonstrate to you what the difference is between the newest factory OEM rollers are versus our pin fit, which will help illustrate the importance of the other components being in good condition. So as you can see, that one there is fairly loose. Now this is our roller. You'll see the logo on that. If you don't see the logo, that means it's not our roller, unless it's very old. So as you can see, very little slop in that roller. It's an extremely good pin fit, which is one of the reasons it offers higher shift quality than the other rollers available. Okay, we're going to start the procedure to actually do a check on your Helix for full contact. As you can see, this has still got the old contact patch. So just take some 400 grit or similar paper and you can just give it a little bit of a wipe to get the majority of that off. As you can see now, it's becoming nice and shiny. Same on the other ramp. This doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, we're just doing a check for generalities here to see if what we have is going to work out. And there you have it. That should be good enough. Now, once we get it to that point, just use a dry erase pen and cover the whole face of that ramp. The idea here is that once we finalize the check in the clutch, you will be able to see exactly where that roller is contacting the Helix. Purple, black, whatever you want to use. As you can see here, we've installed the Helix onto this clutch. Obviously, this is just an old bad clutch for demonstration purposes. I'll show you how you can check now the contact face. This can be done on the snow machine as well, for you guys that are changing rollers out and whatnot on the sled, not taking it out. So the big thing here is obviously you can see this does not have a spring in it, which is the way we have to do this test, is without springs, without anything that's in there, so that you have full control over the clutch. Hold pressure forward on your movable shiv. That's where it's going to be when you're in drive mode there and when everything's working the way it should, obviously, unless you're in reverse. And as you push in, it's going to want to rotate back, but keep resistance back on that. So as you're going in and out, you're pushing the face of that roller against the Helix, and you're going to create a contact patch on that Helix face that you'll be able to see because of the dry erase that we've used on the Helix ramp. Now, this needs to be done with a tight fitting roller, otherwise the rollers just move around and will accommodate poorly cut Helixes and whatever else, and you won't actually be able to see the problems that arise because you don't have a tight enough pin fit on the OEM style roller to actually put the imprint on the Helix that you need. Okay, this is the Helix that we just tested over in the vise, and as you can see here, we've got very good contact on this roller, starting right here. It goes all the way across, and that's a nice contact patch. Obviously, everything there was brand new with the rollers. This is an older clutch. If this was a normal situation where you're putting it back on the sled within not too many miles, this would be perfectly flat and there would be no marks here at all. We're talking the film thickness of a dry erase, which is not very thick at all. So if things are off even a tiny bit, it's going to show up, which is why this test is so nice to do this particular inspection. You can see on the other side, it is not perfect. It's bearing harder a little bit here and a little bit here. Obviously, this was a used Helix. So it could even be that there's a tiny bit of wear on the face right through the middle here. But this is good. This shows general contact all the way across. Now, if this was a poorly cut Helix, which I have to say, we have never seen that in an OEM style Helix. They've been very good. And I will also say that some non-OEM Helixes are very good as well, but there is the odd one out there that doesn't get cut quite correctly. If that was the case, you would see it bearing either really hard on the inside, and you wouldn't see any of this touching out here at all, which means that the angle would be cut poorly towards that direction. Or what we have seen is that it bears really hard out here on the outside and does not touch at all on the inside, in which case, again, with our pin fits, they don't have any forgiveness when it comes to other things not being produced correctly, because our pin fit does not allow the roller to rock to accommodate this poorly cut face, if that were the case. So typically, again, the OEM ones have been really, really good. We haven't had any trouble. We have had minor trouble on some of the other applications, but again, this is just a really good illustration of what you can look for. If you do have an aftermarket Helix, you can check it literally within a few minutes on your sled, just the way I've done it here. And hopefully then if something shows up, you can get that figured out. Doesn't have to be a brand new Helix either. You could check your older Helixes to make sure, depending on what kind of rollers they were using or whatnot, that it is not damaged, even if it looks okay, to make sure you have that full contact. Also, if the Helix does not contact fully across the face, it could create a knife edge mark on the face of the roller, or if the Helix is narrower than OEM spec and not cut correctly, also not a great situation for longevity or clutch operation overall. To be clear, our tight pin fits and roller design and composition create extremely good clutch operation and longevity for your driven clutches and belts, which is why this design is our choice to manufacture and sell. However, if other components are not manufactured properly, like the Helixes, then everything else will suffer the abuse. We have not encountered bad Helix manufacturing on any OEM QRS clutches, but we have seen it on some non-OEM products. Hopefully this is helpful in kind of doing some inspections on your own. I'd say it's a very easy test, but it tells a lot.